What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Build on Drift HQ. And today we have one of my all-time favorite cars in Formula Drift, the Mk4 Supra, and it's owned and operated by one of my favorite people and favorite drivers in FD, Rad Dan.
Hey guys.
He's here at the compound today. We're gonna do a whole bunch of fun stuff, but I wanted to start off by having him give a little walkthrough for you guys on some of the cool, intricate things of his Supra. But I guess like the first thing I wanna ask you is, why the Mk4 Supra?
It was just like the dream car as a child. Like 10 years old, it's like, oh, I wanna get one of those. Didn't know if I'd ever get one. Eventually I got one. And then when I got into FD, I was like, well, I gotta drive my dream car. And so then been stuck with this guy for 10 years now.
And is it like, do you like how it drives? Like, how does it drive compared to other drift cars?
Previous to that, I drove like an FCR X7. They pivot the same. The front end on this drives a little twitchier because it's dual wishbone. I don't know, I would say like an E36 is gonna drive better, or S chassis is gonna drive. They're just smoother and like more graceful on transitions, where this is kind of twitchy or notchy. But I just love the car and I love walking up to it like on grid. I'm like, I get to get in that car. I don't know, it's not the world's greatest drift car, but then we'll get your opinion maybe later.
So believe it or not, later on in this video, Rad Dan is crazy enough to let me drive his car, which I'm very honored. I know to some people, like at this point, maybe it's an expectation, but a car like this, of this caliber, is no joke. I mean, ballpark, these are what, $200,000 cars at this point easily?
Not a race car.
Sure.
A perfect street car.
But like what it takes to put something together like this.
Build, yeah, they're 200 to build each time, you know, do a competitive FD car, yeah.
So to let some random YouTube guy drift around with a bunch of trees.
Some random dude, yeah. Zero seat time, random dude.
Okay,
come on, come on.
Before we talk about like the nitty gritty, so it's a double wishbone in the front.
Yeah.
Is it similar to like an IS or a Chaser front end?
No, it would be similar to a Corvette or a Viper. Because like the IS or a Chaser has that like big piece of the knuckle that comes up, and then so it's gonna drive even different than that. It'll probably feel similar to a Corvette in the front. The back will feel like its own version of a, you know, that might be more similar to your Chaser in the back of the car.
Interesting. All right, so let's start off with the engine package. I think this is one of the best sounding cars in FD. It's kind of quiet for what it is, but it's got like a really good note.
It's deep sounding. So guys, the car's super beat down. It's just, I'm sorry, but it had a rough year. We're here, you're still gonna have fun driving it.
On the phone, this guy literally goes to me and goes, Adam, the car's like, it's bad. Like, it's really crashed. Like, it's really bad. Look at this thing, it's still beautiful.
It's beat them.
It's great.
Stroker, 3.4 stroker with 11:1 compression, EFR turbo. Basics, 2J stuff here.
See this guy? He's another cable throttle guy. I wanna hear your take on that, because I'm old school, I don't like the drive-by-wire yet. What's your take?
I don't dislike drive-by-wire, but it's just like one less thing that could mess up or something. It does have an idle air control valve, so I can still do high idle right before I take off for, you know, a run in FD, keep it at 3,000, it never would drop below, but I probably should switch that, realistically. But I just haven't yet. I have the wiring to do so, and I just haven't done it yet.
I'm on the fence because like I had one event where I was able to get by with like zip ties as the throttle cable. I was like, I can't do that with a drive-by-wire.
No,
you know?
You would be pretty mad, and you'd be like throwing wrenches, like, come on! But so many cars out there are not having issues, and they have drive-by-wire. So I don't know.
Non-electric power steering. I took a while to make that change. I'm curious what your thought and logic is on that.
When I first built the car, I was copying Forrest Wang's style of putting the power steering pump in the back with the MR2 on. So I tried that one year. I hated how heavy it was, and it only worked when you're like well over speed of the pits, you know, like it's even heavy in the pits, and I'm like, I don't. So then I started coming up with this design that's like that little power steering kit I make with the KRC pump, because we all know the stock one usually has issues unless you do a bunch of stuff like you've done.
Yeah, we've had some power steering issues. Kind of random, like not on topic with the engine, but like, are we always gonna see you in a Mk4 Supra, or is there a chance we could see you in another car?
There is a chance you could see me in another car, but I'm working on that in the next year or two, but we're not gonna tell you what it is.
You know what I really wanna see? I want to see Rad Dan drive my E36. Is that something you'd be down to?
Definitely down to do that.
Not in FD, because I got to drive it, but like here.
Sure, let's do it.
All right, so I want you guys to comment. Let us know if you want to see him drive the E36. I'm also curious to get your take, because like some of the stuff that we're talking about, like the power steering, like I just made the switch on that car for the new chassis. So like it'll be cool to get some feedback from you on some of those things.
That one has electric or
It does now, yeah.
Oh,
It didn't.
Yeah.
But
So you had that other belt system, so you went away from that.
actually, it gets really confusing. I kind of forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's electric now because for whatever reason, when we switch chassis after the crash, we can, well, this is about you. This isn't about me, okay, Dan?
Okay.
All right, you can see, is that WiseFab peeking through there?
Yep, WiseFab.
Cool. Talk to us about our cockpit, Dan. You got the Super Dash, which I'm stoked about because it's the coolest
Super
thing.
Dash,
like the way it wraps around you. Look at that.
It's not the easiest to get in and out of in this car, but I do like the wraparound cockpit, and I tried to put as much carbon fiber on the inside as I could. Even the seats and the roof and the doors.
This is one of the first cars I've seen with like, this is like an IMSA style radio setup, isn't it?
The long range one, yeah, that's Racing Radio's long range version, but even at Atlanta, you can have like full, I don't know.
No, I mean, I've always had radio issues and I've only seen those in circuit cars, so it's cool that you use that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again if I rebuilt the car. You could save a pound there.
All right, every pound adds up. This is the nicest feeling handbrake I've ever felt.
Yeah.
Is this like 3D scanned off your hand?
It's 3D scanned off the pistol grip of a gun.
No way.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So like,
Look at
guns usually fit your hand pretty well.
That
There
looks
you go.
really expensive.
It's not that bad.
It looks like this is probably like $1,000 handbrake.
Nah.
Nah?
Nah.
What are you selling
Like
for?
$289, I think.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
good value. I like that. What's the button do?
The button is the radio.
Okay.
To talk, you know, when you got your helmet on and everything. And then,
You know they care about their car when they put a steering wheel cover on it. Right. That's like Kristaps is the only other car I've ever seen with a steering wheel cover on in a drift car. Says a lot.
yeah, I care about it. There's like lots of little details. That's what makes it fun. You keep coming back and you make your own parts and stuff, like sequential shift handle, like custom made to kind of match the handbrake if you look at it.
This man's also got the chill out AC system in here. So that's like, that would basically be like my cool suit, but without the ice, right?
No ice. It does pull a lot. It's like, it pulls as much as one of the big brushless Spall fans.
Oh, so it's got some juice.
Yeah, so like sometimes you're like, come on, quit pulling so much juice, you know?
Yeah.
Because your alternator's mad, everything's mad, and you're waiting in line. It's like 100 degrees.
One of the things Dan's known for is party in the back. You can frequently find the rear of this car missing because he's a gangster when it comes to riding walls. But with drift cars, like one of the main things is there's many different ways to lay out the rear setup in a car because we got the radiators, the bash bars, the fuel cell, all that. And it's really interesting to see kind of how people do it differently. So let's take a peek.
So this one, I might have redone the back 3 times over its lifespan, but currently we got the radiator at the furthest most back section, so you could put the weight of the fuel cell like right over the axle. It was getting like a little hot unless I would duct it all perfectly, so this way I just put a big giant radiator, pulls air from this little pocket here, and we're good.
This right here, if you guys can tag Grant Anderson, maybe on Instagram and send this to him, he literally is freaking out right now because he doesn't want to delete his like rear window, but he's worried he's not going to get enough ducting. If this works,
come on,
if this works, then he can do this.
You can hot lap it, and you'll see like 208 at a big track, which that's not even hot.
Are you running a PWR radiator?
That's a PWR with the bigger fans, and yeah. All the body panels on like, with the exception of the hatch and the hood and the roof, is like the body kit that we make, and so I can
Is it carbon Kevlar?
This time it was Kevlar, yeah. Before we just did fiberglass, and then we started making Kevlar. Then when I crash it or break it, like you do with all drift cars, I can just get another piece out of my mold, and it helps simplify stuff because, yeah, you know, body panels.
You were making body panels.
Been doing it for a while.
What's up, dude? Can you make me some stuff?
These are the only ones I made, and oh my gosh, don't ever make body panels.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Unfortunately, everyone I speak to tells me the same thing.
Horrible.
All right, so talk to me about this because I've never seen this before.
So that is an XRP clamshell. So like, we're only just gonna take this piece off, but
no way, that'll just come off.
There's a double O-ring here. We can't take that off because there's hot water in there, but yeah. So then you don't need a wrench, and it's like quick to disassemble.
Do they fail?
Or no, they don't fail. Those have a higher pressure rating than a traditional AN line, and they are kind of pricey.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks
it's like jewelry for your car.
But it's cool. It's almost like a HD clamp for fitting.
Yeah.
Sick. Cool. Well, this is a very rad car. Are we gonna be driving it in like FD trim today?
Yes, you got nitrous, you got 9 PSI, and then you get to pick your boost setting.
And this is like the tire that you would run in FD?
That's the same tire, yeah.
What's going on with this? I've never seen, like, is this like a spacer that?
No, so I make my own brake kit, dual caliper thing, and that's just a custom hat, and it's set like you'd have to take the wheel off and the spacer off, and you'd see Rad Industries and like.
That's cool.
We do sell that, but it's like a rare car that someone's drifting, so you don't sell a whole lot of them. But like I was saying before, it's cool just to keep making more parts for your own race car. Keeps me interested, I guess. Sometimes you get to sell a lot of them, sometimes you sell a couple of them.
He makes a lot of really, really nice stuff. Like everything's very pretty. I think I've got your main caps on my motor, and then what else do I have? I've
maybe like
bracket.
Maybe a bracket or like the upper water outlet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Upper water neck, lower water inlet. Probably.
He makes a lot of really nice stuff. Everything is like, it's like his handbrake, you know?
Yeah.
It's like pistol grip. That reminds me that every $5 you spend on drifthq.com gets you in for a chance to win my yellow Evo. I know you need some parts, so pick some up, and this could be you. Got the blue heat waves on just for the occasion.
So let's see how it fits.
How many times do you get the what's the retail on one of those joke?
A lot.
You should make a video with Federico.
So annoying. Is that a Supra? You get that more. Shut up.
Yeah, that does suck. I used to get that when I had a Mark V. I hated it.
You're like, shut up. Okay, so just be ignition on and start would be to start it. But the thing that you're gonna need to know most is this will let you go from first to neutral or from neutral to reverse.
Interesting.
But it's like,
What gearbox is this?
it's a Sadev.
Oh, I thought this looks like a Samsonus handle.
Well, I made my own handle though, but yes, I liked the way that handle was, so I made my own that's lighter, and then it goes to the Sadev.
Interesting. I like that it's got like an electric lockout.
So yeah, if you forget that though, you'll be like, fuck, it won't go into neutral. It's just the R. And
Got
the
it.
R was for reverse, but you have to go first to neutral, needs the lockout as well. So
Do I want the high idle switch at all?
if you do, it's the one called mode. We're not gonna be able to talk that good, but start it and you can try the high idle if you want, but it's
Okay.
mode.
Sounds good.
And then arm nitrous. Just do that now so you don't forget. So now you have
Hell
nitrous. Yeah. And you're on the 800 setting.
Okay. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the power this car makes. So what'd you say? Like on kill, like 900 horsepower, 3,100 pounds of you in it?
Yeah, roughly. And I don't really drive it on the kill setting. So drive it on the second one down, which is this.
Okay.
That's your lowest boost setting. That's your highest boost setting. And the reason this one's first is because that's like most FD
Got it.
tracks for running that one.
Yeah, the compound, we don't need all the power, right?
No.
Says you. Yeah, no, it says me who literally puts all the power in everything always.
It's a tight steering position, but
This is a big wheel. That's different compared to most people.
yeah, but I was trying to slow down the rotation of the car. So like,
I see.
you get what I'm saying? Good luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy.
This thing's gonna be sick. Just doing my little burnouts is where I usually get a feel for kind of how a car is gonna act. And I can feel that it's got a decent amount of forward drive, but it seems very predictable. It doesn't do anything weird, so we'll take it kind of easy. It seems like third gear will kind of be the gear for this, so we'll go ahead and see what it does. So I don't know if I hit a little rain there, but it felt really, really good. There's just a few areas where I can kind of see what Dan says, where at like low angle, the forward drive is a lot, but then it kind of gets easier to drive at big angle, which I've experienced before. And some of that could just be due to setup, but the power band is sick. You don't notice that it makes less power than the other car because it's so responsive. It's a lot of fun to drive. Like first entry, you just threw a fucking sick. I'm stoked. The big steering wheel is way less weird than I thought it was gonna be. All right, we get the high idle switch now. Stay full throttle there. This thing is fucking sick. It sounds so cool. I'm gonna go take it back to Dan. Bro, this thing is so cool.
Nitrous doesn't trigger until 4th gear, so you did not get to experience nitrous.
Interesting. Well, it doesn't need nitrous for this.
No, it almost doesn't need nitrous.
I got a big smile. It's very intuitive to drive, and I don't know if it's the wet patches, but I can see what you mean, how there's like a certain low angles where it feels like the car's got a ton of like drive and wants to do things. But then at bigger angle, it's like a little bit more free and easier. It's hard for me to give like an assessment as an FD car without being in tandem with another FD car. But at least like first lap in, I flicked it and went to big angle pretty quick, but it held it really nice. Like the steering feels good, like everything feels like a good drift car.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Alright,
That's it.
maybe try and hit 4th gear and feel nitrous. Or you can't though, huh?
I can hit 4th gear. I think it will pull 4th gear. I'm just not going to throw a backseat.
Okay.
Like I'll enter a little bit more tape. It's me a lot of wheel speed, but we'll see what'll happen. All right, 4th gear, here we come. I like the gearbox. It feels good. The big steering wheel is wild, but it works. This is a good car. Setup's good. Dan knows what he's doing. Not gonna do a crazy entry, but I'm gonna get into 4th. I like the high idle switch. Fourth was a little too much for the drop. I tried to leave her in 4th in the hairpin and it said no way. I wanted to see if she'd pull it.
Got it down to the 3rd, huh?
It pulled 4th though.
Yeah.
That was sick. I'm so honored to be able to drive other pro cars. Like this isn't a normal thing that other drivers do.
Right.
And the fact that I get to drive them here at the compound is like an even cooler thing. Cause this is like gnarly shit here.
Oh yeah.
Clicking 4th, going into that drop, bro, that was the fastest I've ever gone to that drop before. Woo! So sick. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
This is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
The drifting community is awesome. Like, I don't think there's any other motorsport community where like competitors at the highest level would be like trading cars and fucking around.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool.
A little bit risky.
But I mean, hey, I didn't crash, and
No, we didn't
you know,
think you were going to.
but we still have the E36 to come. If you guys want to see Dan do that, make sure to drop a comment and like the video. Your guys' energy is what keeps us doing cool. I mean, let's be honest, I'm gonna let him drive it regardless because I want to see him drive it. But this thing drives really good. Like, it's probably one of the most intuitive drift cars that I've hopped in here compared to other ones. Like, you know, you usually got some weird steering thing, like figure out, but even with the big steering wheel and the quick steering, like it just does what a drift car should do. So
Lots of like changes over the years though to get it there, I would say, because it's the same car for 10 years and
100%.
I kept doing little things. Glad to hear it though.
yeah, no,
That's good.
I'm honored. I'm very appreciative. Make sure you go and follow Dan on all his channels. We're going to be filming some other fun stuff here. We'll probably post that on the other channel, so be sure to check that out. Dan's filming some stuff, but we're out here having a good time, tweak some car stuff, have some fun, and prep for the next year. So make sure to go head over to his channel, do all the things that you should do, and we'll see you guys on the next one.